Hello, I am author Casey Bell, and today I am going to read my short fiction, The Wishing Bottle. So let's get started. The Wishing Bottle. The Wishing Bottle. This is chapter 1, part 1. Henry Danker, an English-American man, is sitting in a chair in a dressing room. His eyes are closed and look more like meditating than sleeping. A knock is heard on the door and his eyes open. A voice is heard from outside. Places, please. Henry stands slowly, stretches for a bit, then checks his face in the mirror and then opens the door. He walks the hallway to the set. There are 4 men sitting at the table. One man, Brian Trump, a Chinese man, is sitting furthest away. Next to him is Ryan Umber, a black man. Next to Ryan is Michael, a Hispanic man. Next to Michael is a native Indian, Eric Wright. Henry sits in an empty chair by the table. A man's voice is heard, and in 5, 4, 3, 2. He gives voice to the host. The audience applauds. Henry speaks. Good morning. Thank you for joining us today on the chat. It is time for heated subjects. John Ignite, an African-American male, is suing J&N, the clothing store, for racial profiling. He alleged that when he walked into the store, he was stopped by security and was frisked before he was allowed to enter. John alleges that the white males who entered before and after him were not screened, and when he asked the security, he was escorted out. Ryan Umber speaks. This is unfortunately normal in this country. Police and guards always assume black men are criminals. It is annoying, but it's the norm in this country. I personally will never shop J&N again. Ryan asks, do you think he should sue though? Michael answers, I believe so. They violated his civil rights. Henry interjects, it's no big deal. Black men commit most robberies. The security was just making sure he wasn't going to rob the place. Michael responds, that is not true. Some of the most famous robbers, Jesse James, Bonnie and Clyde, and Butch Cassidy, were all white people. Henry responds, that was over 100 years ago. Ryan responds, first and foremost, there are no statistics to prove most robberies are done by black men. Secondly, white males did all of that school, church, and movie theater shootings in America. So if anyone should be checked before going into buildings are white males. The audience applauds in agreement. Brian speaks. Let's move on before this gets heated. Michael responds. Well, this is heated subjects. The audience laughs at the comment. Henry continues. Ava Hungry, the new news anchor for Channel 3 Nightly News, has resigned due to finding out she gets paid over $1,000 less than her male counterpart, who has been working at the news station for 3 years as opposed to her 7 years at the station. Eric responds, well, as a man, I am proud to say I am 100% for equal pay. The audience applauds his comment. Eric continues, I would never, as a boss or CEO, pay a woman less than. I believe it's just that it is unjust. Ryan responds, I think that is worse. I think what is worse is she has been there longer than him, and yet they feel the need to pay him more. That is a huge slap in the face. Brian continues, I just think it's sad that Americans keep saying this is the best country in the world, and yet there is still racism and sexism. No offense, but this has never been the best country in the world. Ryan responds, never. Michael chimes in, never. Nunca. Eric responds, well, I beg to differ. I am sure this was a great country when my ancestors were living here, before the Englishmen came and stole this land. Prior to this land being stolen, it could have been one of the best countries. There was no racism or sexism. Ryan continues, no rats, no roaches. Henry interrupts, I don't think it's a big deal. Men get paid more all the time. Brian says, but it's wrong. Henry responds, it's the man's job to work. If the woman would get married to a breadwinner, she wouldn't need to work. Michael responds, your mind must still be in 1950. Eric responds, not all women are married. They deserve the same pay, especially if they have children and no father in the picture. Henry responds, well, whose fault is that she got knocked up? Ryan responds, not all mothers got knocked up. Sometimes a man just leaves, or sometimes he dies, and she has no choice but to be single. Henry responds, she makes good money. What is $1,000 less? Brian responds to Henry, it's the principle and not the money. Besides, I promise you would have a problem being paid $1,000 less than a woman. Ryan responds, Pete have a problem being paid 1,000 less than us. Michael asks, do we all get paid the same? Henry stops the conversation. Let's not do that on live television. We're moving on. A Baptist church in Alabama may be looking at a court date for speaking against homosexuality. Gary Oker, a gay man, said he went to the church thinking all was welcomed, and when he heard the preacher speaking against homosexuality, he went to the police to report it. Gary says speaking against the gay lifestyle is hate and should not be legally allowed. What do you think? Michael responds, what happened to separation between church and state? The Bible speaks against it, and according to freedom of speech, they have the right to believe it. Eric responds, but why only go after the Christian church? Muslims and Jews speak against homosexuality as well, as do many other religions and faiths. Ryan responds, it's a bit hypocritical on the government's part because they are trying to stop churches from speaking against homosexuality. But the freedom of speech law allows white supremacists to speak against people of color. The government rolls over backwards to help the gays, but have done nothing to stop hatred against people of color. This is stupid and clearly proves that the gay people are wrong for thinking the gay rights fight is the same as black rights. It is legal for any white person to get a group of white people in a building and speak against people of color, but they want to make it illegal for a church to speak against homosexuality, which, if you think about it, is unnatural. What is the difference between the two? Henry hesitates to speak on the issue. I really don't have any thoughts on this issue. I think we should move on. Rebecca Linda of Massachusetts has pressed charges against Jason True, the film actor, stating he sexually assaulted her. Jason is denying the allegations, saying the encounter was consensual, or so he thought. Brian responds, that seems to be the thing lately. The man thinking she wants, but she did it. Michael asks, how do you know if she is resisting? Did she fight him? Henry answers, she didn't mention the details, but it seems like to me, if you say so loud enough, he would understand. Most women don't say no. Sometimes I think they play games. Ryan responds, my dad always taught me if she's not your wife, don't touch her. I know that sounds old school, but most allegations come from two people who were not married to each other. Having sex before marriage always has consequences. If you want good results, you just do what works. And what works is sex after marriage. Henry responds, well, I say if you don't want sex with him, do not go back to his place. It's like you're asking for it. Okay, moving forward. A lesbian couple took to social media asking people to boycott Grinder Bakery. The bakery refused to bake their wedding cake because homosexuality is against their religion. What do you think? Ryan responds, no one ever boycotted Denny's. And I can bet you those white lesbians would eat at Denny's in a minute. The audience applauds. Eric responds, I still believe in freedom of faith. If they believe it's wrong, they shouldn't have to serve them. Brian responds, I understand, but if you choose not to serve someone because they are in sin, then you'll go out of business, because we are all in sin according to the Bible. The audience applauds. Henry responds, I personally don't understand what the big deal is. Just go to another bakery. Ryan responds, that's what black people did. We went to IHOP. The audience laughs. Henry continues, I think they are making a big deal out of nothing. Michael responds, that's easy for you to say, a man who has never had to endure injustice or inequality. Henry looks at Michael with dismay and then continues, we'll be back after these messages. Don't go away. The audience applauds. Henry speaks. Michael, what the hell was that? What? It's easy for me to say because I've never endured injustice. It seems like you're being prejudiced. Name one time you ever had to go through someone judging you because of your skin or gender. Steven, the stage manager, walks into the stage and whispers out of the side of his mouth, man, don't do this in front of the audience, please. Doesn't look good. Henry ignores him. That's the problem with you people. You're always being victims. Ryan interrupts. You people? What people? Brian interrupts. Guys, Steve is right. Don't do this now. Steve continues. Guys, we're about to go back on air. Please stop. In 5, 4, 3, 2. The wonderful show continues with the guys doing their best to not show any animosity towards each other while recording the episode. Once the show is over, the men exit to their dressing rooms. Henry, after changing, leaves the television studio and walks home. Henry is strolling the streets. walking to his destination. Mr. Danker is a 5 foot 7 inch white skinned male with handsome features that would make any female straight or gay blush at the sight of his smile. He walks arrogantly with eyes of judgment as he views humans. He walks by a plus-sized woman and speaks softly to himself. She really needs to lose weight. As he continues to strut his stuff, he sees a black male who is speaking loudly on a cellular phone, adorned in very baggy and saggy attire. Henry speaks to himself in disgust. Black men are such thugs. He continues his journey to his destination when he sees a male and female Chinese couple speaking in their native tongue. With much anger, he speaks quietly to himself. I hate it when they come here and don't learn English. As he continues on his judgmental ways, he sees a Mexican female child and immediately speaks softly. I wish all of those illegals would be deported already. As he continues to walk, he sees a woman standing to the side of the street. She is adorned with a yellow blouse with green polka dots. Her skirt is worn over her purple and white striped pants. She is wearing black and hot pink plaid shoes. Her face is decorated lavender blush, blue eyeshadow, and orange lipstick, and a big smile, a pair of blue gloves, and of course, who can miss the pink, yellow, and violet hair? As he looks at her with dismay, he mumbles low enough for no one to hear. What the hell is she wearing? As he walks by her, the woman speaks, I am wearing clothes. What are you wearing? He halts immediately, shocked at her answer to his unheard question. He speaks, What? I said I am wearing clothes. What are you wearing? Why would you say that? You asked what I was wearing. I am telling you. But what? You thought you were quiet enough so no one could hear you? Henry, stunned at her response, freezes, trying to respond innocently, knowing he is guilty. He can only speak one word. What? You spoke quietly enough, but I heard your thoughts before you spoke. Henry, even more stunned, shakes his head no in shock. Yes, it is possible. I can hear your thoughts, Henry. Henry's eyes open widely as she speaks his name. He looks at her in amazement. How did you know? Your name? How did I know your name? Do not worry about that, Henry. It is not important. What is important, however, is your nasty habit of judging people and your insensitivity to injustice. How would you like it to be judged for your skin or gender? Completely stunned, Henry stutters a bit, trying to find words that won't lie, but also won't incriminate him. The woman speaks. What's wrong, Henry? You cannot find any more judging words for the situation? Today, Henry, will be the start of a new life for you. Starting today, you will be judged for judging. When you get home, you will find it. Henry speaks up. Find what? You'll see it when you get home. Oh, and Henry, what? No one else can see me, only you, so I suggest you stop talking to me. Henry looks around to see people walking by looking at him like a madman talking to the air. He turns back towards the woman, but she has disappeared. Henry stands there for a moment, not sure of what just took place. Henry soon gets himself together and continues to walk to his destination. He walks now with his head down, much more afraid to look at anyone. Henry finally arrives back at his apartment. He opens the door and looks around for the woman. He then speaks. I don't know who you are and where you came from, but I demand you leave me alone. Do you hear me? I'll think it. Will you hear it then? Where are you? Come out, you coward. Where are you? Who are you? Why are you following me?